This video is going to be a film study look at the Ravens signing Deonte Harty. Additionally, this is a projection or a forward look at how I think he can be utilized on the offensive side to kind of free up Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman some more. Basically, avoid using those guys on clear out routes and use Deonte Harty in that manner instead. I think it's a clever signing. Hardy's only 5'6". He's a wide receiver slash returner. He's got a knack for big plays. If you look at the NFL film, but going back to college and then prior to that in the MIA, he was an Archbishop Curley grad. He once had 8 return touchdowns in a single season in college at Assumption University, a Division II school in Massachusetts. It's kind of crazy. 8 return touchdowns in one season. Ended up being an undrafted guy in 2019. I never saw him play in high school personally. I was out of coaching by the time he graduated from Curley in 2014. But I guess he graduated in the spring of 2015. And back then he was known as Deonte Harris. He has 5 career receiving touchdowns. I'll show you some film of that and the element that I think he can bring to the Ravens offense on a few concepts that we rarely address. And then a couple of punt returns for touchdowns as well in his career. I think much has been made about the impact of the new kickoff returns. And he certainly looks like a guy to me who the more times you get the ball in his hands, that's just one touch closer to him popping off a big play. He's got 7 career touchdowns. 5 of them are 50 yards or more. His most recent touchdown was a 96-yard punt return in Week 18 against the Dolphins last year when Buffalo came back from a 14-7 deficit in the fourth quarter to win the division, seal the AFC's second seed. So I guess we'll start the film with that play, but I do want to offer the caveat one more time that I suspect he'll be used on clear-out concepts, which have been neglected recently in the Ravens offense from a target standpoint. Basically, deep vertical concepts that stretch the defense. And instead of using Rashad Bateman or Zay Flowers on those concepts to free up other players underneath, I suspect that Deonte Harty could be used in that role to allow Flowers and Bateman to get the ball in their hands more as well. He often seems to be a guy who looks for one cut, a seam to go through, and not necessarily a sideline to sideline or horizontal return player from what I've seen. As in his career, he's averaged over 10 yards per punt return, and then last year, 2023, led the league 12.4 yards per return. I think he's very confident on catching punts. You're seeing video of the 96-yard touchdown return against the Dolphins, really flipped that game. Buffalo ended up winning on the road to take the division. He tends to catch punts on the move when he can, when there is space available. Buffalo often double-teamed both gunners when they were trying to set up Harty for a return. Basically, I think all you have to do is give the guy space, and he can produce stuff like this. Is he going to score 5 touchdowns in 2024? Is he going to score 7 or 8? I think that's probably out of the realm of possibility. But from an offensive standpoint and a punt return standpoint, Deonte Harty provides something that not many other guys did on the Ravens offense, and that's one play scoring ability. Zay Flowers brings that flavor. OBJ had some big touchdowns last year. Lamar Jackson obviously has multiple long runs in his career. We didn't see them last year from a scoring standpoint. I think Deonte Harty brings something to the Ravens special teams, to their return situations, and to the offense that they were somewhat lacking in 2023. And that's the ability to hit a home run every time he touches the football. Probably the best example that I can give you, Week 1, 2021, of course he's still playing with the Saints at this point, pushing this DB off with a vertical release, getting him to turn, and then Jameis Winston, again, another quarterback that trusted Harty to throw to him on these deeper outs. You can see the amount of separation that's there. I have another element that I think he brings in terms of clear out concepts, and those two they fit well together. The vertical stem, which could turn into a clear out route, basically a 9 route, and then the deeper out to the sideline. If Lamar will throw it to him, which I think he will, you're going to see a lot of separation because DBs, if they're left in man or any type of quarters coverage that's man on one by default, have to respect the vertical route, the vertical threat that Deonte Harty brings. Additional to that, has the speed to beat high-level DBs. This is him against Trent McDuffie on a 3rd and 6. Week 14, it's a deep over route. three-man rush with a spy by the Chiefs, so perhaps a tactical error, but Chiefs and Spagnuolo try to mix up their rushes, their blitz to coverage component. They did the same thing to Lamar and the Ravens in the AFC Championship game, kind of mix up how many blitzers there were. You can see they're releasing Diggs underneath initially, and that's just clearing out this whole side of the field for Harty to run onto. In my opinion, this is where the ball is designed to go from a Bills standpoint. It's kind of shocking. He only had 15 catches in 2023. You're probably like, Coach, he's not going to have that much of an impact. I think he could open up other areas of the field for other players, and I intend to show that to you in a minute. In this case, in this example, against man, an extremely high-level corner like Trent McDuffie, that did the opposite. They cleared out the bottom side of the screen from the all-22, the left-hand side from the end zone here, so that Harty could run onto that space because it's virtually impossible for any DB to keep up with him further down the field. I'm going to refer to Deonte Harty as a change-up receiver, meaning someone to insert into the game at a particular time after the defense has declared their coverage versus rush component. We've shown them a play out of a particular formation and situation. They've defended it perhaps the same manner twice. Insert him into the play later on to take advantage of that. This is a fourth quarter throw. That's Stephon Diggs going to run to the middle of the field, occupy basically both safeties. Watch Josh Allen's honesty in terms of where he's looking and how long he waits before deciding to throw this football to Harty. He's looking at the top side safety right now. And for whatever reason, 5, I think Cisco also goes with Diggs in the middle of the field. And Josh Allen's already released the football the moment he saw both safeties occupy Stephon Diggs. This is a real opportunity for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens offense to use a player in a manner that you can throw the ball out there before he's open on clear out concepts, complementary routes, whatever you want to call it. This is a sail or / flood concept. The clear out aspect of it, the 9 route from a Ravens standpoint, has been underutilized. So you're going to get Harty, it was Deonte Harris at this time, on the vertical, a secondary route that's a deeper sail, and then usually you're getting a running back running into the flats as well. Watch when Jameis Winston decides to throw this football. He's already setting up right now, and Deonte Harty has not cleared the safety or the outside corner. He's throwing the ball to a spot, letting Harty or Harris at the time run onto it. I think it gives the Ravens a very different dynamic from a receiver standpoint because you don't have to use Zay Flowers on these concepts, and it allows Zay Flowers to be used underneath and possibly at times even get him the ball more. And finally, just getting the ball in Harty's hands is a great idea. This is 2021 film as well. This is a second down against the Cowboys. Underneath concept that he takes to the house for 70 yards. You could draft a player like Deonte Harty. You certainly could. Probably have to use second or third round value or pick to get someone with this type of ability. I'm not going to name necessarily who those players are in the draft. There's certainly a number of talented wide receivers. In one package, he's only 5'6", so it's a smaller stature than other players that are in the draft. In one package, you've got a great returner, a guy who's proven to be able to take things to the house as a receiver at the NFL level, and someone who can offer the Ravens a real serious threat on clear-out concepts. I think this is an extremely intelligent signing from a Ravens standpoint because they've addressed multiple issues, getting a returner the caliber of Devin Duvernay, or even better, if you wish, to put it that way, along with someone who can complement and help out the wide receiver group. You may not share my optimism in terms of his ability to impact in the pass game. As I stated earlier, do I expect him to have a ton of targets next year? No. Do I expect him to have 2 receiving touchdowns? Absolutely. And if you go back and you watch the film from 2023, just 2023, you'll get the same impression. He's a dangerous player when they line him up at receiver, whether it's in the slot or to the outside. Really looking forward to seeing what Todd Monken does with him lined up as an outside receiver and using Bateman, Flowers, or either one of our spectacular tight ends, Andrews or Likely, on the inside to free them up because of the threat of a Deonte Harty vertical. Man, you guys let me know if you are as excited by this signing as I am. I was surprised when I turned on the film Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, and saw what I saw in terms of Hardy's ability to impact the game on the offensive side, as well as his well documented return skills. Appreciate you guys' time.